Hey guys, I'm BJ Dell, and if you're new to my channel, I'm an artist, YouTuber, content creator, and last month I decided I wanted to do an experiment to see what type of results I would get if I posted a short form video every single day for the entire month across YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. What would happen? Would there be an increase in followers, an increase in views? What would be the standout platform? And would I be able to use all this information to help artists like you? That's the topic of today's video, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So in February of 2023, YouTube started allowing creators to earn money from ads that are viewed between videos in the Shorts feed. As many of you may know, I personally focus on long-form instructional videos here on my YouTube. I like to throw my full process in there with lots of information. So they're kind of longer, and I've always shied away from producing a ton of shorts or TikToks or Reels, whatever you want to call them. Going from creating a 30 or 45 minute video to making a 30 to 45 second video are two completely different things. But because of this change with how shorts are monetized, I kind of took it as a challenge and decided to make and post a short every single day in February, 28 days in a row, just to kind of test it and see how it would affect the algorithm. It also gave me a ton of content that I could post across all the other platforms too to compare the results. So what I posted here on YouTube, I also posted on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Twitter. Now, here's a point that's pretty important to consider. I didn't want to give any platform a leg up, so to speak. So I went ahead and used the same video, the same descriptions, the same tags, the same audio across all the different platforms. And they were posted at nearly identical times across every site too. A level playing field is kind of what I was going for with the posts so I could get the most scientific results. And honestly, I thought the outcome was going to favor YouTube. I didn't think there would really be a level playing field platform-wise, just because my follower count on here is more than all my other social medias combined. And here's the thing, that wasn't the case. My results on Instagram absolutely blew every other platform out of the water, YouTube included. So we're going to go ahead and look at some of the results I saw, how I approach posting. Then we're going to go over some of the numbers, and hopefully I can show you what worked for me and what conclusions I drew from this experiment to better help you grow. First off, let's go ahead and talk about the content. Of course, all these videos, they had to be under a minute long. So I decided to go ahead and focus on delivering one single tip about the Procreate app per video. Kind of like my YouTube videos here, I wanted to provide a learning opportunity and show something of value, but here I also wanted to keep the message simple. Even though I used a single camera and a single camera angle, I used a lot of transitions and panning and zooming in post to help keep the viewer engaged. I didn't keep a stagnant still shot for the entire clip. Every single video also ended with the same call to action. Be sure to follow me for more Procreate tips and full-length drawing tutorials, so the viewers knew what kind of content they could expect from my account, and it compelled them to kind of hit that follow button. The idea here is to make people think, well, I like this video, and if there's more videos like this along the same lines, I don't want to miss out, so I want to follow. So that was the content I posted. Now let's go ahead and look at some of the starting numbers. So on February 1st, I had 245,602 subscribers or followers on YouTube. I had 13,500 on Instagram. Twitter was 1,215. On TikTok, I started with 2,270. So as you can see here, up until then, I really focused growing my platform on YouTube. I didn't worry too much about these other sites, and you can tell that just from my follower count. Then after 28 days, 28 videos later, at the end of the experiment on March 1st, these were the results. I had 1,266 followers on Twitter, a gain of 51, 2,945 followers on TikTok, which was a gain of 675, 249,000 on YouTube, which was a gain of 3,398. And finally, 50.5 thousand on Instagram, which was a gain of 37,000 followers in a single month. Like I said, Instagram blew every single other platform out of the water. Now for the most viewed videos. On IG, the top viewed video had 385,000 views, with quite a few of the videos having over 100 and 200,000 views. The most viewed on TikTok was 27.1 thousand, and on YouTube it was 19,000. Twitter, the top viewed video, 1,565. Just to give you an overall view of how massive Instagram turned out to be, the 28 reels posted on IG for February had a total combined views of 2.3 million for the month. So clearly IG was the big winner for the month. I thought it was going to be YouTube just because of the subscribers and the views that I already have, along with that extra jump I expected from YouTube changing that monetization structure and possibly pushing these types of videos more, but that wasn't the case. Now, to address the elephant in the room, I know a lot of artists, they hate Instagram. They despise the changes that have been made to the platform and to the algorithm. They hate the fact that Instagram's pushing short form video and wanting to be the next TikTok. And I get that. I do. I understand for years that Instagram was the home to a lot of artists that just posted pictures of their work. They had organic growth. They got their art seen. And honestly, that was all it took back then. But here's the thing. Social media and platforms like Instagram, they're businesses. They exist to make money. When there's changes or shifts in the industry, they have to change and shift in turn to keep up. The thing here to understand is that as artists on these platforms, we're really just playing in someone else's sandbox. We don't own the platforms. And as time goes by, these platforms, they have to shift in order to stay relevant. And as artists wanting to use these platforms, we need to be willing to pivot and shift with these changes as well. Instead of getting upset, instead of getting discouraged and disappointed, we need to learn to adapt. From my experience, I can tell you Instagram is not dead like a lot of artists claim. The old way of posting is what's dead. What are the takeaways then? Well, the biggest, most obvious one is that if you're an artist on Instagram, you need to be posting reels. If you aren't seeing growth, if you aren't seeing engagement, and you're just continuing to post picture after picture, the change in the algorithm and the way it works, it might be the reason for that, but you're really the one at fault for the lack of results that you're seeing. If you know that Instagram's changing, if you know they're starting to favor these short form videos, your response is to continue to only post pictures like you have been and complain that you aren't getting the views or the followers or the likes, that's really on you. There's 3 very clear options here that you can take. Number 1, if you don't like the changes, stop posting, get off the platform. Pretty simple. Option 2, post pictures like you've been doing all along, but just don't get upset when the algorithm doesn't actively show or promote these posts. If that's the route you want to take, go for it, but don't complain when you know that there's a solution and you aren't opting for it. Which leads us to option 3, feed the algorithm, give it what it wants, and start making engaging reels featuring your art. So that's the big takeaway. But if you can see that and you're still here with me, number 1, thanks. But of course, there's a little more to than just posting reels. The reels, they have to be good and engaging or informational or funny and entertaining. As you scroll through your reels feed, take note of any art videos that stand out to you. Is it the topic that stands out or maybe the camera angle that draws you in? Also, cool point here, art videos, viral art videos, they have some of the best reuse sounds too. So find a trending sound and see how you can combine that with your own art to make a reel that stands out. Another takeaway to consider, consistent growth requires consistency. Now, I'm not saying that you have to post a reel 7 days a week, 54 weeks a year, but you should be posting reels a few times a week if growth is something that you're looking for. Okay, on to takeaway number 3. Reels aren't quick and they're not easy. If you haven't made a reel before, you may think, okay, how hard can it be? It's less than a minute of video. So what, maybe a couple of minutes of filming and editing. I really think this is why a lot of artists, they don't post reels. I know we can put a lot of time into a single piece of art, and trying to film while we're making the art, it just prolongs that process. And then trying to come up with a video that's engaging after the piece is done might seem like an afterthought, but I can guarantee you it's worth the time and effort based on these results that I'm showing you here. It's not going to be quick. It's not going to be easy, but at the same time, Instagram has shown this is what it takes now to get seen and to get promoted on Instagram. So it is going to be something that you have to invest the time in if you want to be successful on the platform. And finally, for a really cheap hack, something that I experimented with as a joke just to see the results, people, they love to point out mistakes. So remember how I just said that you don't have to post 7 days a week, 54 weeks a year? Yeah, I know there are 52 weeks in a year, but I guarantee someone is going to get to that point in this video and immediately jump down to the comments to call me out on my mistake. People love to do it. Comments fuel the algorithm. They count as engagement, so feel free to use this to your advantage. For example, this reel I posted of the fox, I intentionally erased a small section of the red circle there in the background. This is actually an old design I reused in this video, and you can see when I posted this all the way back in 2017, that red part was filled in. So as I filmed this video, or before, I erased that part, I posted the video, I wanted to see what happened, and sure enough, the comments came flooding in, and people could not help themselves and had to point out the mistake. And this video ended up being the top performing video on 3 out of the 4 platforms and was the second highest performing video on the 4th one. The idea here is find ways to get people to engage with your content. Give them a reason to leave a comment, even though I'll admit this is kind of stupid and a cheap way of doing it. It works in the long run, so give it a try. Or use another way to get people to talk about your stuff. With all this being said and all these results we just went over, I personally don't put a huge weight on followers. And I even honestly feel a little bit reluctant making a video like this just because at the end of the day, the number of followers that you have, it doesn't dictate how good of an artist you are. So having thousands upon thousands of followers doesn't automatically make you a better artist. And if you only have a handful of followers, that doesn't make you a bad artist necessarily. And your follower count shouldn't be related to your self-worth. I think too many people get caught up in the numbers or the lack of numbers for that matter, and it becomes less about the art and more about the exposure. Just remember, the more followers you have, the more visible your content is, which means the more hate and negative comments you're going to get too, which that's going to be the topic of a whole nother video, so stay tuned for that. So that's it for my insights into growing on social media with short form video content. Let me know down in the comments too, what platform do you see the most traction on? Do you have any tips or suggestions of things that work for you that you can share to maybe help someone else out that might be struggling? I would love to hear your thoughts, so drop those below. Also, if you like today's video, if you got some value out of it, definitely give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and hit that bell for notifications so you can get alerted when I post new videos just like this one or my full-length drawing tutorials that I post here on YouTube as well. As for me, I can also be found online, bjadell.com, as well as on all the social medias at bjdell. So until next time, keep creating.